So, what if I told you the real key to crushing your first year of university wasn't just about studying harder? What if it's all about unlocking this one powerful but often overlooked mindset? Let's dive in. Okay, let's be real. If you're finding university both exhilarating and daunting, yep, you are definitely not alone. That pretty much sums it up, right? You're thrown into this whirlwind of new classes, new people, new challenges. It's a lot to take in all at once. But what if you had a secret weapon to cut right through all that noise? A simple, tiny shift in how you think that's powerful enough to completely change your entire university experience for the better. See, the big challenge of your first year isn't really just about the grades or the assignments. That's part of it, for sure. But the real journey, it's about finding your footing, you know? It's about adapting, growing, and figuring out who you are in this brand new world. And that secret weapon? It's feedback. Now, I know, that word can sound kind of scary, maybe even a little negative, but we're going to totally reframe that. Let's stop thinking of feedback as criticism and start seeing it for what it truly is, your greatest advantage. It's a proactive tool that you can use to really get ahead of the game. Just think about it like this. You can stare at an essay you wrote for hours and completely miss a really obvious typo, but a fresh pair of eyes, they'll spot it in 2 seconds flat. That's the power of a new perspective. Your professors, your classmates, they can offer that little insight, that one idea you hadn't considered that just completely unlocks a problem you've been stuck on for days.
And number 2, great feedback isn't about pointing out everything you did wrong, not at all. It's about pointing you in the right direction. It's like a roadmap, showing you where you're already crushing it and where just a little more focus could lead to a huge leap forward. Honestly, it is the fastest way to get better, period.
Now here's a benefit that people almost always overlook. Asking for feedback isn't just about you getting help. It's about building a connection. When you ask a professor for their thoughts, it shows you're engaged. When you ask a classmate, it shows you're a team player. And those little connections, they build up into a real network, a community that can support you and open doors you didn't even know were there. All right, so you get the why. You see how feedback is a total game changer. So now let's get into the how. Here is your practical, step-by-step playbook to put all of this into action like today. It's really just a simple loop. It all starts with your mindset, right? You've got to be open-minded. Then you have to be proactive. Don't wait until the last minute. Seek it out early and do it often. Now, to get the absolute best advice, you have to ask specific questions. And once you've got it, don't just let it sit there. You need to reflect on it and actually act on it. And finally, always close that loop by saying thank you. It makes people want to help you again. And you know that third step, asking specific questions, is probably the most important tactical shift you can make. It's the difference between asking, hey, what do you think of my essay? Which gets you a vague answer like, yeah, it's pretty good. And asking, how can I make my thesis statement stronger? See? That's a targeted question that gets you specific, actionable advice you can use right away. And all this brings us to the final, really big idea. This whole process, it isn't about just one assignment or one class. It's about creating a permanent feedback loop for yourself. You seek feedback, you reflect, you act, and you improve. Then you do it all over again. This becomes your personal engine for growth. And trust me, it'll serve you long after you've graduated. Ultimately, it all boils down to this core philosophy, which I think is put perfectly here. Success isn't just about reaching your destination. It's about embracing the journey of continuous learning. That diploma, it isn't really the final destination. The person you become along the way, that's the real prize. So my challenge to you is this. Don't let this just be some interesting idea you heard. Make it an action. Right now, what is the one thing you're working on? Who are you going to ask for feedback? And what's the one specific question you're going to ask them this week to get your own feedback loop started?